Shalom, everybody. It's Rabbi Shields, Associate Rabbi here at Temple Sinai. This week, we are, of course, entering into Pesach, into the festival of Passover. And we have a special Haftarah for Saturday from Ezekiel chapter 37, 1 through 14. And it's called the Dry Bones Haftarah, if I could give it a name. And for me, it points to moments in Jewish life, both personal and collective, where everything feels dry, where life has been drained out. Perhaps our story, personal or collective, has stalled. And like hope, it has therefore become brittle. And then arrives this Haftarah. The prophet Ezekiel is carried out by the Spirit into a valley, not a field, not a garden, a valley of bones, of very dry bones. And God asks him a question that feels almost unfair. Ben Adam, mortal man, can these bones live? And Ezekiel gives one of the most honest answers in all of the Tanakh. He says, Adonai Elohim, Atayadata, God, you know. Not yes, not no, just I don't see how, but maybe you do. And so Ezekiel is making a statement, a declaration of faith, that faith doesn't always mean seeing the future. Sometimes it means sitting with the question, staying in the question. And God tells Ezekiel to speak to the bones, not to fix them, not to gather them, to speak. And something begins, a rattling, a shifting, bone to bone, sinew and flesh. But here's the twist. They're not still alive. They look whole. They look human, but they're missing something. Ruach, breath, spirit, soul. This Haftarah, this section of scripture always reminds me of like a Game of Thrones or a Lord of the Rings kind of scene. But the idea of feeling like bones or just parts put together, but still feeling just like dry bones, brittle on the inside, is so powerful. We can sometimes present like we have everything together, but then on the inside we feel like we're about to crack apart and maybe even turn into dust. And then what does God say? God says, prophecy to the Ruach, come from the four winds and breathe into these slain that they may live. And then the breath enters them and they stand, they're alive, a vast living people. Ezekiel says, these are the whole house. These bones are the whole house of Israel. To me, this is exile. This is despair. This is our people saying, our bones are dried up, our hope is lost. And God responds, I will open your graves. I will bring you back. I will put my spirit within you and you shall live. Sometimes we all need that. We all need someone to breathe spirit into us, to give us that inspiration, to feel that worth on the inside. And this Haftarah often shows up right near Pesach, and that's not accidental, because Passover, after all, is the story of moving from slavery to freedom, from constriction to breath, from despair to possibility. Egypt in the Passover story is kind of a valley of dry bones. The Israelites are brittle. They are hollow. The spirit is not present within them. And yet, God breathes new spirit, new life into a people who thought that their story was going to end in Egypt. Their redemption began when breath returned. So we have to think about the dry bones in our own life. And we don't have to look far to find them. We find dry bones after loss, after trauma, after October 7th. We find dry bones are in moments of isolation or burnout or fear. And we see it in a world that can feel so fractured and is so fractured and brittle. We say, perhaps even out loud, our hope is gone. I'm not sure if I have any more hope left. And Ezekiel doesn't deny that feeling. But what he does do is insist that it's not the end of the story. So we might ask, what brings breath? What brings life? A voice brings life. Someone speaks hope into the silence. Let my people go. Connection. Well, bones come together piece by piece. And then breath. Something sacred enters from beyond. That's not just miracle. It's a process. I wish everyone a meaningful Passover. And if you are feeling brittle, if you are feeling without ruach, without spirit, I hope that you listen for the voice, find the connection, and let the breath enter you and lift you. Zisen Pesach, and early Shabbat Shalom.